And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Klesson, joined by
Gibran.
Oh, the parlay.
You got it.
Founder.
You got it.
And I can't wait.
Yeah.
I really hope you got a parlay put together for this segment.
Yeah.
Because we're getting out there. But believe it or not, this is an area where guys have been beating the books up the last few years. So you knew we had to get into it. I'm talking about the NFL draft.
You got it.
Next Thursday, April 27th, beginning at 7 o'clock in the evening. And I think things are going to start with your Carolina Panthers.
Woo!
Back on March 10th, a little refresher for everybody. My Chicago Bears brilliantly traded away that first pick, got the kitchen sink and everything else from the Carolina Panthers, but that's going to allow Frank Reich to take his quarterback here. Well, that's the guess, right? That's why you move up on the board. And, of course, that's what we're talking about, odds. At first, everyone was saying C.J. Stroud, right?
No doubt.
Now I feel like people are talking Bryce Young out of Alabama. How are you leaning on this? With the Carolina Panthers, number 1 overall pick, Houston Texans, 2nd overall, Arizona Cardinals, 3rd overall.
Yeah, Andy, and like you said, I wish that, you could have threw a little cheddar on Bryce Young a couple weeks ago, because this just switched with Bryce Young canceling his, trips and, visits to every other team except for the Carolina Panthers. Mm-hmm. So he's sitting up on top of the board at minus 1,200 to go number 1. So that is pretty much a clear-cut deal. Yeah. Bryce Young is my quarterback moving forward. I don't hate it. But it just looks like that one's locked up to really get value.
That line has been moving like a wildfire, because I'm looking at a line from just a few hours ago at minus 470.
Yeah, no, and that would have even been better, but no, literally minus 1,200 on DraftKings right now, live. C.J. Stroud all the way to plus 800 and number 1 pick. I just don't. They don't put lines out like this if they know what's going on. So minus 1,200. Bryce Young is definitely going to the Carolina Panthers. Quarterback of the future, multiple Super Bowl champion, coming forward for the Carolina Panthers.
Well, your 2nd overall pick, you got C.J. Stroud there at about plus 150, I think is what I'm looking at on some of these books. That's also pretty good value to it.
No, exactly, Andy. And anybody that's trying to tell me that, Will Anderson or Anthony Richardson or Tyree Wilson is going number 2, I think they're crazy.
Okay.
The Houston Texans would absolutely be crazy not to take C.J. Stroud at this number 2 pick. Yeah. You can find this, Andy, anywhere from, what'd you say?
Plus 150.
I see it on DraftKings right now at plus 275 for C.J. Stroud to be taken 2nd overall to the Houston Texans. And there is some murmurs that they could trade the pick or anything like that. Even if they trade this pick, no matter who gets the pick, is picking C.J. Stroud. Right. No matter what, C.J. Stroud is going number 2 in this draft. It would be absolutely the biggest bonehead mistake in, Houston Texans history if they botch this one.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where if you take him, you still got a lot of leverage, and you can trade him the same day. You can trade him within the hour.
Yeah. No, if you're looking for an edge rusher, great. You can get that edge rusher plus another pick in the draft.
Yeah.
So you have to take CJ. He's the biggest value target out there after Bryce Young with the Panthers. So I think number 2 is locked in. DraftKings right now has CJ Stroud as a plus 125 for the 3rd pick, Andy. So obviously they think they know something here that what they think is going to happen here is Oakland's going to trade up to Arizona's position to draft that quarterback. And that could happen, but I believe C.J. Stroud is going to be gone, so I don't think that line really stays there.
Yeah, and I'm looking at, I think this is MGM, BetMGM, and they're at plus 250 on the 3rd, so you have better odds. Oh, wow. And we say it, but we don't say it often enough. Shop it around, especially in a case like this where, of course, you're going to be in Iowa here, folks, so that means you're going to have DraftKings, you're going to have FanDuel, and every other sports book that's allowed to be played from your phone. So you got that access. You can be really quick. And as soon as you see a a line really start moving, the cat's probably out of the bag. And you might be behind it a little bit, but you can still get a bet in real time if you're on it. And if you're going to be watching it anyway, let's say you're going to Ameristar, you're going to Harrah's, have some fun, but stay on top of it.
Yep. Well, I'm going to Kansas City. I'm going to watch my number one quarterback walk across the stage and welcome him to the Carolina Panthers. So I'm going Thursday night, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Like we said, if Arizona keeps that pick at number 3, Andy, I believe that they are going to take Will Anderson Jr., the edge rusher from Alabama, Andy.
That's a great pick. I don't care where.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
And I think that's the best pick for them. And he's sitting right now at a plus 250 for that pick, for that third pick, no matter who's picking it, he's at plus 250. So I really like Will Anderson plus 250 for 3.
For 3, and I'm looking at plus 300. So, yeah, it's right there. It's all that stuff. A lot of chatter lately talking about Will Levis, the quarterback out of Kentucky.
No doubt.
I would not be surprised. I don't know what's going on with C.J. Stroud. Going from first and maybe to second, now to third. I wouldn't be surprised if Levis jumps up to 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Especially 3.
Exactly, Andy. And I got him all the way back at number 19 going to the Bucks.
Well, that wouldn't surprise me either.
Exactly.
This is crazy.
I really do believe the third quarterback off the board, Andy, is Anthony Richardson from the Florida Gators. I don't believe it should be, but he has the most upside is what everybody's saying. He has the most big play potential out of any quarterback in the draft. There was a little bit of time there where the Carolina Panthers were locked in on him because Frank Reich said he's the best, coachable, big play guy.
Measurables, upside, high ceiling, all that stuff.
I really see this guy. If the third pick goes like I think it's going to go with the Cardinals, the Colts are sitting there at 4, and they're taking Anthony Richardson.
Now we've seen some crazy things on draft day. I do think you're going to see more of a traditional, like let's say the Texans stay there at 2, take Stroud, and then right away flip him for another first-round pick.
Yeah.
So they're going to get, like you said, their edge rusher or whoever they're looking for.
And another first-round pick.
Yeah, their linebacker, and still get a first-round pick to follow.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Bryce Young, number 3 overall, at plus 4,000.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not giving that any thought.
No, I don't. I just don't think it's going to happen. They don't give lines out like minus 1,200 to the first round pick if they don't know that that's happening.
Yeah.
And for C.J. Stroud to be number 1 draft pick at plus 800, that's way too much for the books to put out there with a chance for them to lose that. So I really think Bryce Young is locked and loaded. Would I mind if C.J. Stroud got drafted by the Panthers? Obviously not.
Right.
I think it's those 2 guys, 1 and 2, obviously. But no, I can't give any thought to a plus 4,000 for third overall pick for Bryce Young.
How about this one?
Yeah.
Total number of running backs drafted in the first round. I got a 1.5 at plus 350.
Yeah, Andy, and
that's saying 2 running backs go in the first round. That's a plus money bet.
Yeah.
2 running backs, plus 350.
Well, Bijan Robinson from Texas obviously should be a first rounder, but I'm kind of
they just don't draft running backs in the first round.
No, it's just not.
They don't do it anymore.
It has to be a clear cut Heisman guy, clear cut national championship guy with all the measurables,
right?
With the 40, all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, obviously, I think you got to go with the under.
But there's no value. It's minus 550. Yeah. It's minus 550.
Exactly. No, I just don't. I don't think there's going to be another guy drafted in the first round, like you said. One that I really like, Andy, is total defensive backs in the first round over 5.5. It's at a minus 125 right now.
Ooh.
I think that's hitting for sure. I think 6 go easily. One of the biggest things in the first round of defensive backs, obviously. I think 6 of them. There's 6 really good ones out there.
Yeah.
So at a minus 125, it's a lock for me.
I mean, you see teams, defensive teams in the NFL take cornerbacks even when they don't need a quarterback.
Exactly.
Cornerback. They got 3. They got 4. First round, they still take a guy because they got him so high on his board. They can use him in a nickel, a dime defense, whatever. They don't care. They want the corners. They need
the
corners.
Safeties and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So,
yeah, defensive backs.
I mean, obviously, Christian Gonzalez out of Oregon, he's going to be a top 10 pick. I got him going to the Lions right now. And then, I think you guys, the Chicago Bears at number 9 should be a lock, Andy. And
for a corner?
For an offensive tackle.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah,
My God.
That is one of my locks. I think if we go all the way down to pick 9, Peter Storonsky is at a plus Andy, and he's the offensive tackle out of Northwestern, 6'4", 313 pounds.
I would love that.
So this has to be a lock. Number 9, go with the Bears with that offensive tackle. That is an absolute lock because that's the whole reason that they traded the pick to the Panthers is to protect Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Already got all the weapons around him that he could absolutely need.
Yep.
This is a lock. That Northwestern offensive tackle, Peter Snoronsky, at number 9 at plus 200.
And that's that. It's still a plus money bet, but it's not that big of a line. That's telling me that they're really thinking about it.
It's locked in.
It has to be, right?
It has with anything with a quarterback dropping all the way to 9.
Yeah.
That they're like, okay, we could flip this for 2 offensive tackles.
Right.
If Anthony
Will Levis is still there.
Exactly, something like that.
Could happen.
But this is who they want.
Yeah.
I believe that the general manager for the Bears, is going to put the name on a notepad, walk into the office with it, and say, this is who we're picking, number 9. I don't care what anybody says. So, offensive tackle for the Bears, Peter Snoronsky, offensive tackle out of Northwestern. Lock it in.
I hope that's the case. And then, once you see that first guy go, you start to see a run of it. You see it with, you especially see it with the receivers or tight ends.
Yeah.
Let's stay with that offensive lineman for one more fun little total number here. Offensive lineman taken in the first round, over under at 5.5. I got minus 250 on that 5.5.
Yeah, it's going to happen. Don't you think?
It's going over.
It's going over.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, right after your guy Peter Snoronsky, Paris Johnson Jr. out of Ohio State's going to go literally probably the next pick, and then you got so many other guys. Broderick Jones out of Georgia, he's going to go real high.
Yeah,
It's too big of a position, and there's too many young quarterbacks in the National Football League right now that they have to protect them. Offensive linemen, over.
And even if it's a quote-unquote bust, let's say you get a left tackle and it's bust, well, you can still move them over to guard or to right tackle and still get 4, 5, 6 good years out of the guy.
No doubt about it.
It's a little bit more of a safe bet on that front. Oh, you just heard the clock there. That means we're up against it. So let's take a quick minute. Do you got a parlay for this draft?
I do have a parlay. It's an NFL draft parlay. It's just a 2-teamer. First 2 quarterbacks selected, exact order. Bryce Young going 1, C.J. Stroud going 2. I got it at a minus 120 right now. Not a lot of value, but if you put $100 on that, you're grabbing 80 back. So I think it's going to happen. I think it's a lock. These 2 are the best 2 players in the draft. It's going to happen.
From reading between the lines and then just straight up reading the lines that have been written, that sounds like a pretty good, solid bet. Like you said, as close to a lock as you could ever get when it concerns the NFL draft. So I like it, even though it is a minus 120.
Yes, sir.
Take a minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is the Stock and Rod Company. From hunting to fishing to everything in between. Created for the outdoorsman whose love for adventure means it's always time to get their wild game on. Check them out at stockandrod.com. Don't go anywhere. This is WTL.